ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live to the Jopra Show, your alternative talk radio. I'm Joe Janot, and we are going live on the 12th of July on a Thursday afternoon. And folks, it is summer in the big city. And today, I tell you, it is going to be big time in this studio. And if you listened to us last week, you'll know why. Last week, I had the ladies from Seattle proper breaking it straight down about us men in Seattle. And boy, did it cause a fussle. My phone and my emails have been going all week in regards to it. And I just asked the fellas, I go, listen, stop all the yap, come in the studio and back it up. And so today, folks, I got the who's who of the big time players, and they are going to break it down today about these women in Seattle and what's going on. Because, they listened to the show last week and they were like, no way is some of this true. The whole cat thing, the confidence, men like this, Chicago that, they're going to come straight to you today. So pay attention. We're going to be bringing that to you later. But up first and foremost, my main man is in the studio. Eric Ryder, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, good afternoon, Joe. Doing really well.
Good, man. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yes?
It was good. I can't remember most of it, so it must have been all right.
All right. Eric, what I got to do this Saturday with my lovely wife is, one, we got out of the house, and we went all the way up to Tulalip Casino for a get-down. We old-schooled it with about 6,000 people, and we listened to a little bit of Boys to Men. We saw En Vogue.
That is old school.
Yes, En Vogue, Boys to Men, and Salt and Pepper. And it was a great time. For those who've not been up to the Tulalip Casino.
Wait, they replaced Peppa with Pepper now?
A little Peppa. But who wasn't there was Spinderella. And I sort of miss Spinderella.
Oh, Spinderella.
The DJ.
She was the heart and soul of that.
She was the heart and soul. It would be like Michael without Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, yeah.
But, it was great. If you haven't been at the Tulalip Casino, great setup. Outdoor facility, beer gardens, good party, the great concert facility. The sound was awesome, and people it was a great time. If you're going to see a show, I definitely recommend hitting Tulalip Casino and listen to it. But Boys to Men were great. They put on a great show. Every girl was losing their mind, causing trouble out there. And I tell you right now, if my players were there, it would have been on for them because it was a house cleaning. They could have got the broom and they could have been sweeping it all up because it was ripe. It was ripe up there, but it was a really good show and we had a great time.
Did they do this one?
They do all this, man. Motown Philly.
There you go.
That is what it's all about. Thank you, my man, Eric.
They were back again.
They were back again. And En Vogue was great. They can straight sing it, but Salt and Pepper just came to the show and really got to it. They really were setting the tone and the great performance. So definitely a great spot to check out. Also on the topic of that with Tulalip, there's a wine thing going on this weekend, tonight in Bellevue. It's a Guinness Book of World Record bottle opening show, and it's been happening in downtown Bellevue today. They're asking all participants to come down to Bellevue to bring a bottle of wine and open it simultaneously. And it's going to be going for the Guinness Book of World Records. They're asking you to check in at 3:30. The thing's going to happen at 4 o'clock. It's at 699 120th Avenue Northeast. It's formerly Larry's Market for all those who live out there. And they're going to have this big thing. They're trying to get thousands of people out there. So if you got nothing going on this afternoon, after you're done listening to the Jopra Show, love to go out there, bring your wine key, get a bottle of wine, and have a good time. And get a chance to get into the Guinness Book of World Records. So check that out. Also,
I think it'd be more dramatic if they made it the most people uncorking champagne at the same time.
I think so, man. Just bring out the sword
imagine
and cut
all that
off.
champagne just spraying everywhere. 1,000 people.
Just do the shim, man. Just shut it down with the big shim on the big bottle. Champagne be everywhere. Also this weekend, man, starting tomorrow up in my hood in West Seattle, folks. They're going to be having the West Seattle Street Fair. Big fair goes on all weekend. Great bands, good music, great food. So if you have nothing to do, go up to West Seattle and check it out. And speaking of West Seattle, Eric, I was watching the news last night. And, I talked a little bit about the zip line going on in Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
And I guess they had like 200 people down in the Fauntleroy Hall getting all squirrely about this zip line going in. And all mad about how it's going to hurt the environment and hurt the birds and this and that. And I say this. They're lucky I wasn't there. Because I would have dropped the hammer. I would have said, sit down and just relax.
It would have been pretty cool if you zip-lined in to the meeting.
I would have zip-lined in because I would have showed them
like
that
Batman.
The number one...
Jopra's here to
I would have Jopa-fied him.
Take him
because
to school.
The number one tool going down at Lincoln Park, if you go there with your family, is the zip line for your kids. So I don't understand what the big beef is. I mean, is it going to hurt the birds? I need some scientific knowledge if that's going to happen. We need to call the zoo. We need to talk to a bird specialist to find out, if I'm on a zip line, how does it affect the birds? Because everywhere else in the world I go to and they got zip lines, are the birds mad there also? I mean, I see birds everywhere. Are they mad? I mean, they're in my garbage or on the top of my house. It seems like that just go anywhere.
This is news to me, this whole thing.
Well, I don't get the zip line. I think it should occur. It's a great way to make revenue. So for all those who are still mad out there, take a break.
Maybe
look
there's
at it.
another park that...
there's lots of parks in the city, but let's just be honest. There's no way to raise funds to keep these parks going. So they're going to have to think out of the box, and they are. And the lady Barbara Leeson from Seattle Parks Department is right. We can bring you lots of ideas, but something has to justify bringing money to fix these parks and contain them and keep them up. And this is an idea. And I think I approve of this, and I think it's good for the city to think out of the box. It's good for the Parks Department. And folks, stop saying no. Jesus Christ, it's like everything's no, no, no. Don't want a Ferris wheel. I don't want a stadium. I don't want to have the zip line. You know what? Get on the Jopra show and tell me why. And I'll fight with you over it, because I think it's time to start thinking more aggressively towards things happening instead of saying no. And those folks that were up there on that mic last night, these weren't just, some young folks who got kids being raised. These folks were in their mid-50s and mid-60s, and they're not bringing their kids down there every day. And when I'm down there, I don't see a lot of people at Lincoln Park, and I go there quite a bit. And I don't think it's going to bother anybody. I think it'll be good for the city and it's good for the park, and we really need to look at it.
Maybe some of these seniors should try the zip line.
I think they love the zip line. I think they'd be getting down, make them feel young again, not so angry. Only here on the Jopra Show. Hey, if you want to give me a call today, you're going to want to, because coming up next, man, I'm bringing in a good close friend of mine who opened up a place called Primo's Pizza up on First Hill in Seattle, and he's going to break it down, because there's a big thing going on with pizza and bars. There's Big Mario's, there's Primo's, and there's sort of a thing going on. I wanted to talk to him a little about it, and he's going to be coming up next. And also after him, the men. We're going to unleash them. We're going to bring it to the table, and I got lots of questions. So stay tuned here at the Jopra Show at 1150 Alternative Talk Radio. We'll see you right back after these messages.
They came up to me, I said, well, what's your name? What's your name? Hey, you know what I'm saying? And then I said, all right, fellas, well, let me see what you can do. And then a smile when they wanted and said, yo, Mike, check this out. See if this one moves you.
If you love dogs, tune in to The Dog Show with Julie Forbes, live every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. We'll talk about everything dog and interview authors, experts, and amazing organizations, both locally and nationally. And don't even get me started on the pet food industry. I'm Julie Forbes. Find us online at www.dogradioshow.com and also as a free podcast on iTunes. The Dog Show with Julie Forbes, an evolved perspective on life with dogs.
This is a public service announcement test from TakeMeFishing.org to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before heading out on the water. Let's begin. Are you a bear? Do you have a beak? Does your name rhyme with Ald Beagle? Do you dart in front of cars? Here's a tough one. Do you have plumage? Do you rub your body against things to mark them? Do you have webbed feet? No, I mean like a... Were you hatched? Do you have fur? I'm not talking back hair. Does your boat fly south for the winter with the other boats? Regardless of how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered, because it helps local conservation efforts protect the very natural resources you enjoy boating and fishing in for generations to come. Do your part at TakeMeFishing.org.
For home repair, remodel, and construction advice, ideas, and useful stories every Saturday from 10 till 11 a.m., tune in to Constructing Whatever. With over 40 years of combined experience, hosts Tim and Lynn talk about whatever, from important need-to-know topics to fielding your questions about the latest industry news. It's Constructing Whatever every Saturday morning right here on Alternative Talk 1150.
This week, I'm on vacation, so Lynn's in charge. Deal with it. Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Don't touch that dial. You might miss something life-changing. Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Jopra Show. I'm Joe Janot here live at 1150 Alternative Talk Radio. And if you just joined us, I'm fired up today. I'm fired up. I mean, I'm in a little bit of a frenzy because in studio today I brought my main man in. That's right, my boy Max Borthwick, who owns Primo's Pizza, and we were going to discuss today a little bit about the whole concept of doing Big Za and a cool little lounge theme. And if you go up to Primo's up on First Hill, It's a phenomenal little restaurant. They do great pizza, and it's a good spot. But I like the idea of having a bar pizza thing, and I had to bring him in today to join us and talk a little bit about it. How you doing, Max? How's everything?
Good, Joe. Thanks for having us.
Good, Max. So where did this whole concept of this whole bar pizza theme come from?
You know, it really just, the neighborhood kind of needed it. First Hill, you know, there's not much up there. So we do a little delivery, a lot of takeout.
Right.
So it kind of needed just kind of a neighborhood thing, something easy. But the previous places that were there before, they turned them over fast because they were trying to do a higher price point. So
Sure.
we went the opposite way.
Something a little bit more casual.
Exactly.
And how's the response been in the hood? I mean, is First Hill are they into it?
It's good. It's good. You know, it's a different neighborhood.
Sure.
You know, because it's kind of no man's land in between, you know, downtown and Capitol Hill. But so far, it's working out.
Okay, cool,
So, yeah.
cool. Now, folks, for those who don't know, my friend Max Borthwick, he opened up Toys Restaurant. He also launched Suite 410, the real new Ultra Lounge, a couple years ago. And I know he's got more coming down the road. But, you know, Max, is there room now? Is a new thing here from Pegalachi's going to be like, is Pegalachi's going to open up a sort of themed pizza bar thing? Is that going to be is this a new way with pizza, having a bar connection? Am I going to be able to go get a slice and have a shot of Jameson here soon everywhere?
You know, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. It's there are a lot of pizza places in town.
Right.
So there's a lot of competition. You know,
Okay.
you just got to try to, you know, I don't know. It was just kind of an experiment for us.
Does it seem like, is it catching on? Is it
Yeah.
people like, because it seems
Yeah.
like everyone's talking about it.
It's a neighborhood joint.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you need a drink. You
Sure.
need a beer.
Well,
You know, there's TVs you can watch, and you just try to just be a little bit for everybody.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it's good. At First Hill is Primo's. Go to Capitol Hill, you got Big Mario's. I mean, it seems like there's something definitely going on there. I don't know, Eric, if you've been up there, but it's a cool little spot. Great place to come up with your girlfriend and have a little pizza.
Putting it on the list.
Putting it on the list. and tell me, give me a quick, what location, the address is again?
1106 8th Ave.
Okay, cool.
So it's, right across from Town Hall.
Right, and if you guys been up that way, you have to check out this place. And tell me something, Max. I mean, you're a restaurant guy. You're a great designer. You built a lot of cool things. Is the restaurant world changing a little bit here in Seattle? I mean, you've been here for a long time, like myself. Is it going in a good direction with these new looks, these more progressive ideas?
It's tougher and tougher to come up with something new.
Right.
You know, everybody's thought of the next thing. You always have to constantly be thinking of something that's new and
Right.
and current. So
Right.
and there's more places. There's a new place popping up every day. There's
Is there? Do you have a favorite place right now? Is there a new spot like, wow, this is unique? This is sort of a, you know, my listeners of the Jopra Show are educated people, like to get out. They're looking for always a new spot. Is there something that even I don't know?
I was at Revel last Friday.
Nice.
I love that place.
Revels in Fremont, correct? Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
It's a great place.
Cool. And, you know, within the cocktail thing, is the cocktail fusion, I know it's big, this craft cocktail thing, and I got a guy in the studio who knows a lot about that, and we'll go to him later about it. But, I mean, do you see that being part of your whole scene with pizza, craft drinks? Is it more like a beer and give me a cold beer and a shot thing?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah, beer and the craft cocktail thing is great and it has its place, but there's a lot of work that goes into that, and and the attention to detail and everything like that. It's really a lot of work.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And I did bring up a little earlier that he did open Toys with his mom many years ago, and they launched a whole new sauce thing. Mm-hmm. And if you could tell my listeners a little bit about the sauce, possibly.
Yeah, the sauce is called Thai Fusions, all natural, and we retail peanut sauce, curries, hot sauce, barbecue. They're all natural products, so we sell them at Whole Foods and PCC and
Nice.
Met Markets and places like that.
And Thai Fusion, that's what they're called,
Thai
correct?
Fusions.
Thai
yeah.
Fusions,
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
I've used the sauces. They are all natural. They're great sauces. They last for quite a while. You can just put them on anything, steak, chicken. I've tried them on my eggs. I mean, they're really great sauces. So if you're out there at PCC or Whole Foods, you definitely have to check it out. Now, is the Thai Fusion sauce going to go global? I mean, are we going to see it at Costco and check it out at 7-Eleven? I mean, how big is this going to be?
I don't know. We're really kind of picking up steam right now, but the production in the sauce is there's a lot involved.
Okay.
Again, and the price point with with shipping and gas the way it is right now, it's really difficult to kind of go outside of kind of the Northwest. So yeah, I mean, if you have major distribution, then it's I don't know, it's a logistic thing. You know, we get coconut milk powder that we actually have to add water to. So we import that from Indonesia. So there's kind of it's
Indonesia.
I mean, yeah, right.
Should I call my some cousins? Should I call Alfred? Yo, man, I need some powder. So based on that, I mean, I tell people this: the sauce thing is really good. I mean, now could you use the sauce on? Is it working the pizza thing? I mean, can I dip it with my little sauce and pizza? Actually,
we have a pizza called the Swimming Rama, and it's got peanut sauce, spinach, chicken, cilantro, and a little squeeze of lime, and it's off the hook.
It's working.
It's good, yeah.
Working good. At primoseattle.com?
Yes.
Good. So you got to go to primoseattle.com, head up to First Hill, go inside, and you're going to meet my main man, Max Borthwick, is in the house with us today on the Jopra Show, all about Thai fusion sauces and about making pizza and having this sort of revolution with pizza and bars. I think it's definitely going to work. You know, Max, I wanted to know, just to segue a little bit out of the Thai fusion thing, you know, being pizza and things like that, is there still a lot of good dating going on at the big house at Primo's? Do you see that being a couples-oriented spot still with beer and drinks and things like that? Is it a good meet and greet?
It depends. It depends. Right. I think, you know, the weekend, people come in, they get started there, then they kind of, you know, venture towards, you know, 12th Avenue there on Capitol Hill.
Hill?
Yeah, they keep it kind of moving. But
right. Yeah, it's a good date place because I got a lot of single people who like to go out and have dates.
You can stumble upon.
Can I stumble upon that? Yeah. Okay, all right, that's good. I mean, so you know, if you're out, you know, and you're going to sit around and have a little pizza and want to have a first date, or something like that, I think Primo's is a great spot up there on First Hill.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Max. You know, coming up today, you know, we just dabbled just a little bit, but we're about to get down here with me. I brought in 3 or 4 people just to sort of break down the whole thing about women and what's going on in Seattle. As you know, on the Jopra Show, we talk about relationships, we talk about sex, and we talk about food and wine. And within that today, you know, these ladies last week, the Seattle proper, actually just sort of went crazy a little bit and just was bold about making statements that our men are, you know, a little soft in this city, a little soft and just don't quite have it work out. And I brought an excerpt from the part of my show. So why don't you guys listen a little bit about what the lady said about men and confidence. And we're going to start with that here. I mean, Lisa, do you feel like men here in Seattle, is there a lack of confidence?
Yeah, but I think their lack of confidence is they have business confidence, but they have no relationship or how to talk to a woman confidence. I think a man will talk his job for hours and have that confidence, but when you say hello and shakes your hand, all of his confidence, and you can just see everything wash out of him. Like, she's talking to me. What did you want a drink? It's like, you know,
no game.
Yeah.
No game. Wow. Well, so in studio today, I brought my man, Mr. Jones is in the house with me today, Mr. Brandon, Mr. Cousin, and they're just going to talk a little bit about, and be candid, if I will, about it. I mean, do men in Seattle lack confidence, fellas? Mr. Jones, I mean, do they lack confidence?
I think a little bit, but also we've got some good gentlemen out in this city.
Right.
But we also have a lot of techies and nerds and guys with a lot of money that don't know anything about women, like she's saying.
All right. So
but she also needs to stop hanging out at hotel bars. That would probably help her out.
And you know, I mean, there's some validity to that. I mean, we do have a lot of techies, but really, are the techies the problem of the dating world for women? I mean, when I'm out, I don't see a lot of techies guys trying to make a move, but is it true?
I don't think they know how to make a move.
All right.
But we got a lot of self-appointed sevens in this city, too. So.
Okay. So, all right. And Mr. Brandon, do you feel like, you know, I mean, do we have no game in Seattle? I mean, that's what they're saying. We have no game.
Well, I think there's plenty of game, but there's a lot of guys out there that tend to put it on a pedestal. So when Lisa was talking about these guys totally wash out on self-confidence, you kind of have to agree with her. They do. They just don't have the balls to man up and walk up to a girl and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And then when they do, they whiff it.
So she's right.
Well, to a certain extent.
I was shaking my head last week, saying, "No way!" But
not all the men are batting .238 like Dustin Ackley when it comes to women in the city. But
oh wow, just like that. And Mr. Cousin, I know that you're in a relationship and everything, but I mean, do men lack confidence? I mean, do you see it? Do we have no game?
I think to a certain extent they do.
You know, just maybe it's the lack of vitamin D. Who knows? It's Washington, man.
Well, okay. Shoot, I was about to hear. I thought I was going to hear something totally different, but I guess we could be on point of that. I mean,
it might be the sun.
It could be the sun. I mean, I think that yes, people do lack confidence. Is it true here in Seattle? I guess it is more than we expected. I guess that, as I said to you last week, Eric, and I'll say it again, we may have to have a man class. We may have to actually break it down into a man class. Do men though at the same time though? With saying that they have no game, is it really true that we actually don't know how to walk up and approach a lady?
Totally.
Yeah?
100%.
Why?
Well, there's two sides to this coin.
Mm-hmm.
You see a guy sitting in any bar, club, any situation you're in, and stare at a girl from across the room. Totally talk about her to his friends and no, but have yet the balls to get up, walk over, buy her a drink, talk to her, give her a compliment.
He'll do the classic lazy man. Hey, bartender, can you send a drink over to that lady over there and tell her it came from me?
The famous move.
Oh, really?
Well,
now I'm your bridge? Okay.
I say this, and you guys we got another. You hear about the whole no game. I mean, you need to hear how far they went into this, and I'd like to hear what you guys think. Well, maybe not.
Men
go ahead.
Not from the Northwest tend to court you more. I find that they do hold doors. They do. Yeah. They don't want to split the check on the first date. Things like that.
You know, courting, and we're going to come to that. But I want you to hear that. But I mean, the whole no game thing could be true. But I mean, so then what should a man do? I mean, how does he get better? You're talking about, do I really need to get up from my seat with my four buddies, walk all the way across the bar, wave at you and bring you a drink? Is that how far it needs to go?
Absolutely. But like I said, there's two sides to that coin.
Right?
Girls got to get up, do exactly the same thing. When's the last time a girl's come over to you and bought you a drink?
Oh, it happens all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's ever happened unless somebody just slid a shot down the bar.
Right.
I mean, Max, do you believe that it got to go both ways? Women have to work as hard as men on the whole thing about the first initiation?
I don't think it needs to go both ways, but I think just being open from their end would be, it'd be a lot easier if they'd be a little bit more open. So,
right.
The women in Seattle are a little bit more cold. So
okay, so
right, so that makes it a little more difficult.
Due to the fact that so many guys with no game or no tact approach them with such an awful demeanor that they're like, man, here comes another dude. I gotta talk to this guy. Are you kidding me?
But I mean, okay, so then let's just cut to the chase a little bit about the women. I mean, are Seattle women easier to talk to over women from out of state?
No.
Absolutely.
Why?
Not even.
Why?
Well, there's an inflated sense of self-entitlement in this town for sure.
Yeah,
now we're getting to the chase
if you're
here.
a 7 in Seattle, you're a 5 anywhere else.
Right.
Okay. Entitlement.
I got to agree with you.
You got to go. I mean, Brother Max. I mean, you're shaking your head. I mean,
it's true.
It's true. I mean, even my man Eric Ryder's in the house, like sort of bopping the head up and down. I mean, we've definitely hit a point here of interest. I mean, but why then? Why? I mean, how do we make it that a 7 now is a 5 everywhere, but she thinks she's entitled just to give you...
I think it's a lingering effect of, like, we're jealous of California girls, or you know what I mean? Where, like, everybody just develops that attitude that makes its way here.
Right. Well, the girls said, one thing they talked about is that guys in Seattle don't know how to dress. They don't bring their A game. They all wear plaid. They all wear plaid shirts, and they don't have anything to...
well, this is the only town...
Because it's 1994.
This is in New York, right? But, I mean, don't you think also that has a little bit to do with it? I mean, just your presentation?
I don't know. I was just in Chicago recently. Not all the dudes dress up that well there, but it's a
Joe,
much
you
easier
can dress
place
up
to
a turd,
approach people.
But it's always going to be a turd.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can dress a turd.
But it's still going to be a turd.
Bingo. And, we talked a little bit about the whole courting thing. We want to go back to the excerpt real quick when you got a chance there, Eric, and talk a little bit about, have we forgotten how to court here? Let's know what the girls have to say.
Men not from the Northwest tend to court you more. I find that they do hold doors. They do. Yeah. They don't want to split the check on the first date. Things like that.
When's the last time somebody used the word court? Like 1963?
It was back when everybody was wearing plaid.
Right? Plaid was in there. But I mean, this is, 3 ladies who said they're being honest. I mean, I asked the question, do men court? I mean, do you guys court a lady? When's the last time you took a court lady out and gave her some flowers? I mean, Max, are you a courting guy? I mean, do you court? Okay.
I mean,
maybe
I
not.
have. Okay,
yes,
good.
Absolutely. That's an honest
Absolutely.
answer. But is courting out? I mean, Mr. Jones, is courting out?
There's been a progression of the way people date in this world now with all the online stuff and text messaging and Facebook and Match.com. That I think it's kind of soured the whole courting idea. You know, it's not as easy as these days. So
I mean, but in which
and
way?
Also, it's also like kind of. It's kind of cheesy now in a way too. You know, if you're trying to be openly like court or lady or whatnot, like opening the door, things like that, they're still nice. But a lot of people are so modernized that they're like, oh, look at that cheese guy. Like, oh.
So then here we go. We talked about the nice guy theme. You're too nice.
You know where they finish.
You know too nice, and we all know nice guys finish
last.
Okay. So I mean, so then there's a little catch-22. I mean, cousin, you have a lovely girlfriend and everything. I mean, do you still open the door for her? Is there still courting going on, or you just don't care and get to the door and order your food first?
Oh no, I still do everything. You know, I was raised in a
last of the Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen.
A good family. You know, you knew my dad.
Yeah, I do know your dad.
He's a good guy.
And so I mean,
manners.
You know, just the whole manners. But I mean, what aspect then are they right? Are the ladies right that courting's dead?
Kind of.
I don't believe that. I
And
see guys
how many
split
split checks do
all
you
the
get?
time.
How many split checks do you get?
I mean, just split down the middle. I don't get that. I've
Yeah,
never understood that.
The whole Dutch thing is sort of a lot. I don't get the Dutch thing, and they were saying
retarded.
it happens quite a bit.
Dutch.
They were saying that Dutch.
I might be a little young. Dutch
checks. I'm going to split the check.
Oh, okay.
Split the check.
Is that what that means? Because
Yes.
I've always just kind of picked it up.
Yeah, well, they
I
say
thought
that doesn't
you were
happen
just
a lot.
supposed to hand the card to the server when she gets up to go to the bathroom. Like, that's it. You know, here we go.
Well, you know, and for all you need to know, Mr. Jones is not from Seattle.
No.
So back to what they said earlier about Seattle boys or Chicago boys, you know, may be true because Mr. Jones is from the Midwest. So, you know, there could be a pattern to what they have to say here on the Jopra Show. If you're going to give a call in, shoot me out at 425-373-5527. We are talking today live with the men of Seattle about where all this is going with women, you know, and if there's a confidence, is there lack, a little bit of courting, is all that they say is true, that men have a hard time stepping up to the game and getting up there and doing what they got to do. And I wonder. I think some of the ladies maybe be right. I mean, you guys aren't countering them too much, so I think they are right. But you're right. There is some entitlement that we've heard on the Jopra Show, and I believe that we'll have to wait and see. You know, next conversation, next topic. Let's talk about dating. And let's swing into that a little bit and see, you know, has dating changed? Is there a difference today than there was 10 years ago? I know there's phones. I know there's texting. But outside of the phone thing, has dating changed? I mean,
Absolutely.
Do you go on dates as much as you did 5 years ago?
Probably less.
And is it less in a good way or?
It's just less in a different way. I mean, going on dates 10 years ago, you didn't prefix a date with a bunch of texts. Hey, how you doing? Give a girl a good morning text, you know, because girls love the
good morning text. Are you always next to them in the good morning text?
No.
I was going to ask, can you feel her phone vibrate when you send that?
But 10 years ago, you ask a girl on a date, you call her up, you guys go out to eat and do your thing. But nowadays, there's just such a lead up to it that, you know, like online dating. People go online and it's like ordering a boyfriend or ordering a girlfriend. What kind of date is that?
It's almost like a draft.
Yeah.
You can draft the best guy out of the situation. You're like,
Well,
let's see, we got a top draft pick. We can trade down for a number 3, like, you know.
We talked a little bit about online dating, and I asked him that question. I said, is it too much information going out before you meet the guy?
Yeah.
I mean, you have too much going into the game that it takes away some of the surprise.
It cheapens the getting
experience?
to know one another experience, you know?
I believe that's true as well. I think even with the Facebook medium or whatnot, where people can look and see like who you are or what you do before they can be kind of prejudiced towards you before they even meet you.
Right. And I think this. I mean, what is a good date? You know, what's a good
you guys
date?
are going to have to answer this. I couldn't tell you that.
I mean, outside of getting to home base, well, I mean, is there a good date? I mean, do you ever walk away and go, hey, that was a good time? I know girls, the ladies of Seattle proper, they talk about it's hard to find a good date.
If you can have good conversation, good food, laugh,
if you
and the night with whatever you think is the obtainable goal, I think that's a good date.
If you just straight up don't have any pre-expectations and just go out to have a good time,
right?
Just to get to know somebody straight up, it's going to be a good date.
Expectation levels a little lower, just to enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
I felt like the Seattle proper ladies didn't quite couldn't find a way to enjoy the moment. They seem to always be guessing that something's going to go bad. He's going to say something to drive me crazy. His jokes are getting boring.
Oh my God, he didn't open a door for me.
He didn't open a door for him, so the courting is done. But I mean, is the courting done? I mean, how do we do? How long do you guys go to a date? I mean, the longer the date goes that night, does it more become, okay, this night could really end very well? Or do you even think that way? I mean, is it 5 minutes into it, Mr. Jones, you think, hey, her and I are going home right now?
Time out, are you actually insinuating that I go on dates?
Does it feel like, though, that after a couple hours, like, hey, this date's going in a good way. This could be a great night, or do you just don't think about it?
I think you can know within like the first 5 or 10 minutes. You're like, okay, I like this person. We got a little connection. Or you're like, oh, I just want to shoot myself in the head right now. Or just sneak out the back.
How do you get out of a bad date?
Leave.
Do you just get up and go?
No. Just shoot from the hip, man.
Well, how do you get out of it, though? Come on.
Straight. Hey, I don't think this is going in. This isn't going in the right direction.
You do what they do.
This isn't what I thought it was going to be.
You do the old girl trick. You go into the bathroom and have one of your friends call you and pretend that your mom or your brother or your sister or somebody's sick or your dog got run over by a car. Like, anything will work.
Or you call Mr. Jones and have him take your place for you.
Yeah, okay.
Or as the girls would say, my cat has issues and I got to get back home. Because they say all these men had cats.
Cats. Ugh.
Okay, so if the date went well, things are going good.
He would have done well with the ladies last week.
Oh,
they didn't like cats either.
They didn't like cats either. So he's been terrible. Fine. If the date's going well and everything's looking really good, I mean, do you think about, okay, we're going to go back to someone's house? The girls, I asked them, do you go back to his house or do you go to your house? I want you guys to hear the answer from the ladies. But there's no routine to this. And is it at your place or is it at the man's house?
It's at my place.
Always at your place, because there's no walk of shame, right, Ann? One?
No.
You have control of the
shame.
situation.
Yeah. So it depends, but I would say my place probably.
See, now, I know, man, the heads are shaking here. So, I mean.
Other side of the coin.
It's your place.
No, it's always her place. You play away games, so you can get the hell out of there whenever you need to.
And Mr. Brandon, is it your place first time?
Is there anybody in this room that gives one iota about the walk of shame?
Oh,
straight up, I don't care one way or the other.
My intern is shaking her head right now, but outside of that, we're okay.
In the days of Yellow Cab and Uber, who's walking home anyways?
There ain't nothing shameful about it. It's a walk of pride, badge of honor.
Depends on how bad it is,
right?
I don't know.
I mean, if you didn't clean your room, then maybe, hey, we ain't going to my place. Does it go that far?
I think if you get to that point where you're going to your house and the room's not clean, you're like, hey, sorry about this. My cousin was staying with me. Here you go. Come on.
The old cousin. See, always back. And, I asked the ladies a little bit about the whole thing with lingerie. And I asked them if lingerie was in or not. Is it in? And they were like, yes. Is the lingerie a dead thing? What happened to it?
No, it's not dead.
Okay.
It's fully alive.
So Seattle proper is still going on.
Yeah.
The last time I saw lingerie was on CBS during the Victoria's Secret runway show. So
I mean, Max, is lingerie dead? As we men, are we seeing less lingerie? Because there's a lot of lingerie stores opening left and right.
I think lingerie only comes out for boyfriends, not for dates.
That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's a reward for putting up with them for a certain amount of time.
And ladies, I implore you, I beg of you, I think it should be an everyday occurrence. It's you know what? Yoga pants. Yoga pants is right up there with lingerie. A girl can go out in public wearing yoga pants and her rear end's hanging all out.
Yeah.
Wearing lingerie for a date, that's a thing? Is that bad?
Right, I hear you. I think lingerie should be going all over 24/7.
Right.
They did say, though, matching this and matching that. They did talk about having matching bras and panties. So, that was as far as they go for a first date.
That's nice. I'm sure we're matching our drawers with our socks every once in a while. So,
and let's just say this: you guys go on a date. Is there a number nowadays? How many dates will I go on to get to home base, or does it really matter? Do you think that way? Do you think after, 5 minutes we're talking about 10 minutes? But is it nowadays? Hey, I'm gonna go on a date with her for 4 dates. See what happens.
It just depends on how well you flow with that.
If you like her, you're not worried about anything.
You're not worried about it.
If you like
You
her,
go
you're
on
not
a
worried
bunch
about it.
of
But if
dates.
you don't like her, then hey,
I mean,
5 minutes or call my
after
cousin.
the first date.
What's the date today?
Right? Okay.
It's not the 50s anymore.
All right. Well, yeah,
You got to change with the times.
But is it more today with all these women in Seattle? Do you find though age being an issue? I mean, do you have a better following with the younger ladies, or do the older ladies just get to the chase and tell you what they want? I mean, I see both. I see a lot of the young girls out, and I also see a lot of the older women out. But I mean, cousin, you are in a relationship, so I'm sure you're not noticing much. But do you think it's more? I mean, who's got this attitude in the city? Is it more the older women right now, or is it all the ladies?
Honestly, since I've been in Seattle, I think I've been hit on more by older women than younger, by far.
God bless older women.
Older women.
They know what they want.
God bless.
And what is older women to you guys? 25, 30, 35? I mean,
Exactly. 45,
right.
50,
Huh?
65.
I'm saying 35 and up.
35 and up is an older woman. Well, Mr. Jones, I don't know. I've never seen it with an older woman, so we'll have to wait and see how that works out.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, is the whole married woman thing gone to the wayside? Has the cougar thing now sort of laid down a little bit, or is there still lots of married women looking for a young, fresh man to go on a date with because their husband's on vacation?
They're clawing out there still.
They're still clawing out there.
They're out there.
I mean, what do they say to you? I mean, do they sit there and go, I mean, you see this big 2-carat diamond ring on there. Do you say, hey, what's going on with your husband, or do you care?
You got to stay out of the airport bars, Tyler.
I love how you look right at me like I have the answer to this question.
Well,
which I totally do.
Yeah, well, I look like you had something to say. So
I mean, we in the industry that I'm in, we see a lot of that, and they're very forward.
Mhm.
They know what they want, and it's pretty much a yes or a no.
Okay.
And thanks for letting me drive your husband's cars. No, I'm just kidding. We don't go that far. But.
Get in the husband's car. Shotgun, folks, shotgun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see it out there. I mean, I see a lot of married women coming into the hospitality world and definitely putting themselves in a position of saying hello. And I say that more in like more of a hello. They're trying to catch eye contact. And I'm just sort of wondering if if that cougar thing's ever going to go away, or it just is what it is.
I think it's always going to be around. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Because there's just going to be a new crop of 40-year-old ladies that are single or married or whatnot. But
Right.
I also think the married lady that's sitting at the bar doesn't get any attention at home, so she's got to go somewhere to find it.
Once again, comes back to us. We're just not giving the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in this whole thing then, guys, we see this with Seattle women and East Coast women. What is the difference, though, on a point of, like, if you're going on a date with a Seattle woman, would you take her to do something different compared to going on a date with a girl from back east?
Well, I already figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to take her to the zip line over in West Seattle, and then afterwards we're going to go to Primo and get a couple slices and a couple shots of Jameson.
You've heard it here live on the Jopra show. But, I mean, is there a difference, though? I mean, because we talked a little bit about that, about dating and the process of it. Is there a difference about taking a lady out who's from the East Coast compared to a Seattle girl?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, but would you do anything different? I mean, when I meet...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If you're in Seattle, you gotta go with the flow and do Seattle things. It's not like
Sure,
you can
but it
fly
doesn't-
to New York.
It doesn't matter if she's from wherever. You're going to do the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm imagining there's gonna be a little more boozing involved because those East Coast and Midwest girls could definitely throw down.
All right. And who's the better dresser, a Seattle girl or an East Coast girl?
East Coast.
Max, I mean, you got a nice decor of your dress. I mean, when you go out there and you see a lady, can you tell right away she's from Seattle or she's not from Seattle?
Probably less and less.
Sure.
I think Seattle women are probably dressing a little bit better than they used to.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
But
I have to agree with him.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, they're coming around.
Because the ladies last week were just ripping us about how we dressed. I mean, do we as
About
men
dressing?
Yeah, well, they say we don't dress well. We don't have any class.
Well, this is the only town you can go to the opera in jeans.
True that. But I mean, so looking at everything, you got these ladies. Doesn't really matter. Seattle, East Coast. We don't really have any fanfare. If I was going to go to a football game, and I had a choice of a lady from Seattle and a lady from Chicago, who would I be taking?
Chicago.
You better say Seattle. You're from Seattle.
Well, if you're going to see the Seahawks, then she's there going, "Da Bears, the whole
Thank
time."
you.
You know,
Thank
you
you.
probably wouldn't have as good a time, right?
Right? But
You want
I
to bring
mean,
a Seattle ladies
I
Seahawks
would
game.
say we want to bring Seattle, but Chicago. Why?
Well, I'm
why?
a Bears fan. That's why I'm bringing the Chicago girl.
But Mr. Brandon, why would you say Chicago over Seattle girl?
They're just party girls, man.
They're just party girls.
Those Midwest girls are down to earth, straight up party girls. Seattle girls are too uptight.
So, and Max, what are you thinking? I mean, Seattle girl.
Don't say I don't know. I think maybe there's a little bit more. Something might be a little bit more interesting.
From a Chicago
girl. A little bit more,
because they say Chicago girls definitely know their sports. They got something to say about their sports, right? I mean, they're very more sports oriented. And cousin, good luck tonight. Good luck tonight. That's all I can tell you.
There's got to be a bit of the grass is always greener kind of perspective going on here, because last week the women were more impressed by guys from the East Coast.
Exactly.
This week the guys are more impressed by women from the East Coast.
Yeah.
We got to get these coasts together.
Yeah,
apparently,
something needs to happen, because definitely both sides have picked the East Coast over Seattle propers. And I think this. I mean, do we need to then maybe get everybody together and try to work this out? I mean, I think that there's definitely some issues that need to be brought to the table from both sides. But I think, the confidence level, I can see that. The dress thing, I think you're right. I think ladies are getting better dressed. But, at the end all day, and when you guys are out and seeing somebody, outside of them being good looking or having a cuteness or a great smile, what is it? What's that one thing? Is it them looking at you twice? I mean, how do you know, being a young man, single, out, how do you know you're in? Maybe that's what I'm trying to ask. How do you know that you're in, that you can approach?
Maybe the rubberneck.
The rubberneck. So ladies need to be out on the chair. They need to be scooting back and forth and hitting the neck world, left, right, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Stop being so shy, Just fucking walk up to a dude or, fucking.
For the most number one single places for women. A lot of single women here. So what can they do to help us men come together a little bit?
Get off their computer and stop internet dating.
Stop internet dating.
Exude some confidence. A confident woman is a sexy woman.
Well, confidence, I think, is on both sides. For sure.
There's a fine line, though, between confidence and cockiness.
Isn't the phone a problem? I mean, I hate to say this, but it doesn't seem like everybody's on the phone. And sometimes more women than men. Like their heads down more? I mean, is there a problem with that?
I think it's a defense mechanism, too, because if you're sitting at a bar by yourself and you're a woman, it's easy just to ignore somebody by just looking down and checking whatever, doing, I don't know what the heck they're doing half the time.
But if you're on a date and somebody's playing with their phone the entire time of the date, get up and walk out. Get up and walk out.
Get up and walk out? I say this. I think that, being approachable, staying off your phone, getting the wiggle on. Because I always see a lot of times when you see two ladies talking, no one will interrupt them. They'll be in their own little world for months, sitting either at the coffee shop or having a hamburger or having a drink at a bar. They just can shut it down quickly and say, don't talk to me. Is that true?
It's kind of like a bear trap, two ladies sitting at the bar together, because if a dude walks up trying to approach them, like if one's in, the other one's definitely hating on him.
So in closing today on this topic about women, I'd like to. What would be one thing you'd like to pass on to the ladies of Seattle, Mr. Brandon?
Exude more confidence.
Okay. There's that word again.
There's a flip side to every coin, and as much as they want guys to be more confident and step up to the plate, they got to do the same thing.
I like it. More confidence. And Mr. Jones, is there something out there you'd like to say to the ladies? Because, I mean, something has to happen. We just can't keep having these single groups on both sides and not anybody coming to the middle and getting together. I mean, do we have to have a singles party? I mean, what do you want to say?
I'm not doing a 7-minute dating thing here.
No.
But, first, wear more sundresses. That will start with a revolution.
Yoga pants, too.
Yeah, yoga
pants.
Right. Yoga pants.
I mean,
just the look. Better look.
Feel comfortable in your own skin, but also, maybe go outside the box a little bit, like Brandon's saying, and walk up to a guy or buy a guy a drink or study a little bit about something, Like if you don't know a lot about cocktails or sports or this or that, you can impress a guy by walking up and throwing down some knowledge on him, something that kind of surprises him or comes out of left field.
Nice. And Max, what do you think? I mean, what's one thing you'd like to pass out there?
I think just, approachability.
Okay, being approachable.
I think that's, just being open and easy.
Right.
Just flow. That's it.
Is there outside of a bar, which we all know, is there a good spot to approach a lady? I mean, can you approach a lady in line at Starbucks?
Man, I always thought the produce section at the grocery store was always great.
You can approach a lady at Starbucks.
Seriously.
Is there a good spot to approach ladies?
I will say that going to the dog park without a dog is not a good idea.
Could you bring your cat?
Don't even own a cat if you're a man.
Can we get back to the cat thing for just a second?
Can you bring the cat? Well, sure. Go ahead.
If these girls are all crying about guys having cats and talking about cats, they're clearly dating the wrong kind of guys.
Of course they are.
Clearly dating the wrong
If you could have seen how they went on about the cat for 45 minutes last week on the Jopra show, it was amazing. I had no idea. I mean, Eric and I were just shaking our heads like, what? Really? There's that much of an issue about cats and men?
I did not know that was a problem in this town.
I mean, Eric, were you surprised by that statement last week?
I was a little bit surprised by that. Yeah, definitely.
Are you a cat owner, Eric?
I am a cat owner.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Proud cat owner.
I think my internship...
Nothing wrong with having feline friends.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. I think that the whole cat thing is an interesting standpoint. But I believe this. I mean, should we have a party? Should we have a get-together so people could talk this out and work it through? Would that help?
Let's throw it down.
Because I think that, coming up, would you guys be open to having a open forum with the Seattle propers about this whole subject?
I think we have a great venue for it as well.
Okay, I think we can make that happen. I also would like to ask this before we get off, because this has been on my mind quite a bit. Has sex changed dating? Has it? Because it seems to be, it's more open, happens more current. A bottle of Jameson, you can get a long way with somebody. But has it changed it?
There's less exclusive,
because back in the old day, you would say, I'm with her or he's with me. But it's changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, well,
for good or bad?
It's just different. It used to be that when you had sex with somebody, then you guys were together. It was a relationship at that point. You were a boyfriend or a couple or however you want to put it. But nowadays, sex is such a casual thing that it's like a handshake for a lot of people, it's just that casual. So
how casual? Like, thank you, have a good night. Here's your $2 on the door. So, how casual is casual?
It's casual.
Wow.
I'm not sure women have that same perspective.
Well, it'd be interesting. That's definitely something that we would have to put back on the table. But
yeah. I'm not going to shake hands with somebody that I don't know that well.
Right. Like Joe said, a bottle of Jameson can get you pretty far.
Is there reasons? Does that part have a reason why there's so many single people right now? Is that because you don't have to worry about attaining a relationship to have sex anymore? You can just go outside, boom, boom, conversation.
Probably has an effect on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Maybe everyone needs to hold back a little bit.
What? No way.
Let's be realistic, Joe. Come on now. Let's not.
This is 2012 now.
But within that, though, because I feel like, yes, with the sex thing being more forward, maybe that it is changing the way the dynamics of dating and being single is. Maybe it is from both sides. Hey, I don't need a girlfriend. I don't need a boyfriend. I can go out and get my needs taken care of and leave it at that. Some have said I don't want to be tied down.
I don't want that answer to anybody. To what Eric said earlier about the grass is always greener. Like you're with somebody and then you see somebody like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I just do this and then I'll take care of it. There's somebody else better. He could be a tech guy with a lot of money.
Or the internet's taking care of a lot of men's needs too.
Exactly.
And
that's
a lot of guys go.
You can practically get laid with your thumbs nowadays.
Living in the land of the hand. Go out and buy a few drinks and then go home.
Right. And we do know that the internet has definitely changed that in an amazing way, for sure. And that's another topic that we can definitely dabble into down the road on a late night show, for sure. If you were just finishing up here on the Jopra Show, we just talked about it today. We laid it on the table. The men of Seattle definitely agreed with the Seattle proper ladies in some aspects, but definitely on both sides, confidence seemed to be the word a lot that's come to the table. Is there a spot for you guys for a first date? Is there always a good spot? I ask everybody this every 3 weeks and every week. Is there a good spot for a first date?
Oh, man, I thought Primo's was great.
I think Primo's is a great spot.
I thought it was awesome.
I think Primo's a great spot. Is there a good spot outside of going to get a slice or going to get a full? Pizza I always think is a good spot for a quick intro and hang out for a while because you're not lard into it. It's not a big ticket and you can have a great time and an hour and a half later you're out, right?
Keep it informal.
Keep it informal.
Low key.
All those boys out there who have a problem with their confidence, I think they need to know, keep it simple. Keep it informal. Keep it, keep it in your comfort zone. Some have said go do things that you're comfortable doing. If it's biking, kayaking, doing a kite.
If it's a common interest, it'd probably help you go a long way.
Sure, but staying in your comfort zone. That's what my intern's telling me right now. She's shaking her head saying, stay within your comfort zone. But, I think here at the Jopra Show, we've realized a lot of things here in the last 2 weeks about men and women. We are definitely apart a little bit, and I think there's definitely a room for us to get together, and we're going to have to put some things into play to make this work. But before I go to my monologue and my closing, I just had to ask, though. I mean, guys, is the single thing going to get any better, or could it get worse? With online dating, with soft porn, with the way people aren't sort of like locking down into each other, could it be that point sometime people just aren't getting together and aren't getting married?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
You know how the world keeps evolving. Maybe this dating world keep evolving that way too.
Right? And is that a good thing?
No, I think it's a bad thing. I think it people just understood that it's more of it's the personal issue of just being able to. It's about people. You don't have to be afraid of people, computers, phones, this, that, the other thing. That all makes it all informal, and it just keeps going in that direction.
Sure. It comes back to a personal preference too. Do you want to be single? Do you want to be in a relationship?
Right.
Because you can make either happen.
But it seems like, though, I mean, a lot of people don't want to be single, but they are still. It seems like then those who are thinking about trying to date are still single.
But that's why they have those mediums for them now too, with dating, online dating.
Expectations, Joe.
Expectations.
Let's set the bar attainable.
Right.
At an attainable level.
Yeah, you wouldn't walk into a gym when you're 5'5" and try to dunk on a 10-foot hoop, would you?
On that note, folks, speaking about that, I think that, yes, I mean, I think expectation, I think confidence is important. And yes, when I was 5'5", I was dunking the basketball. So, there's that question that's already been answered. But I mean, yeah, I think that dating is going to come on. I think that Seattle people as a whole need to get together and figure a few things out for sure, and close the ties, or if not, just keep it going and keep it going. But I do say this: I think that when people are out and also when they're partying, they got to be careful because there is room for you to meet somebody if you just actually would be more open, more approachable, show confidence, have something to say when someone talks to you. Men and women, that definitely has to work, don't you think? I mean, if you can find that full package, it's there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You just got to walk up to somebody and talk to them. They're just people.
They're just
people.
Right? And Max, I mean, don't you think though? I mean, as we grow as people, is it going to get? Do you feel like why are we not attainable then? Why can't we're not approachable?
I don't know. It's just the personal connection between, I don't know. It's getting lost somewhere.
Something's getting lost.
It's getting lost.
Something's getting lost for sure.
Yeah.
But we got to bring it back. I think though we are definitely gonna move in a way that we get everybody together. I know this. At the Jopra Show, we're gonna get these men and women together, and we're gonna cause a feud. We're gonna get these things straightened out and get people to talk. We know one thing on the Jopra Show, that you got to have some confidence, man or women. You go out there, you got to be more approachable, and you got to have some confidence. Hold your head high, stop playing with the phones, and be able to handle someone coming up to you and saying hello. Because I believe this. The reason why we're not dating, a lot of people are having problems, is because I think a lot of these things are what the men and the women have said is true. Approachability, expectation level, confidence. We have to. If we don't, then we just keep finding the online systems, the late nights on the internet, and the lots of drinking to cause you to do bad things that you normally wouldn't do when you're sober, right? So I'd say this, in closing, enjoy your times. But when you're out, have fun. Do what you need to do. Because on the Jopra Show, this is a no excuse truth talk radio that we tell you this. If you're not going to be approachable or attainable or have the accountability or confidence, then you're going to be alone, period. I think. Am I right? If you're not going to dress to impress, if you're not going to bring your A game or have nothing to say, then forget it. You should stay home. Watch, YouTube, Netflix, do something like that. But if you're going to do the other thing, these are the things I think it's going to take. I think both the Seattle proper and the men and women, the men of Seattle, were both right on many aspects. I thank you guys for coming into the show today. In closing on the Jopra Show, I just want to give you guys heads up. West Seattle Street Fair is going to be going on this weekend. And if you have nothing going on today, go down to downtown Larry's Market in Bellevue and be a part of the Guinness Book of World Record opening bottles at the same time. Sounds really cool. I would definitely do that. I want to thank everybody for coming on the Jopra Show today. I'm Joe Janot. This is 11:50 a.m. Alternative Talk Radio, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
your